Chapter 3: The Hunter and the Host. 12:47 a.m. The world was a smear of dark lawns, blinding porch lights, and the frantic rasp of my own breath. 6 blocks. In the car, it was nothing. On foot, barefoot, with a concussion and a heart trying to hammer its way out of my chest, it was a marathon through hell. Every shadow held Sarah's shape. Every rustle of leaves was her step. The cool night air did nothing to cut through the smell of decay and terror that seemed baked into my skin. David lived in a modern, secure apartment complex. The main doors required a key fob after 10 p.m. I skidded to a halt in the deserted parking lot, my bleeding feet leaving smears on the asphalt. My eyes scanned the rows of identical balconies. 3rd floor, apartment 312. A light was on. She's already here. The thought was an ice pick to the spine. I couldn't get in the front. I ran around the side of the building to the stairwell access door. It was propped open with a brick, a smoker's courtesy. I blessed the anonymous nicotine addict and slipped inside. The concrete stairs echoed with my panicked, limping ascent. 3rd floor. I burst into the hallway. The sterile, carpeted silence was a shock after the chaos in my head. Apartment 312 was at the far end. I crept toward it, my body screaming with every step. The door was slightly ajar. A thin sliver of yellow light cut across the hallway carpet. From inside, I heard David's voice, tense but trying to sound normal. "Just surprised to see you, Sarah. Mark said you weren't feeling well. Everything okay?" "Where is he, David?" Sarah's voice was a study in controlled menace. It wasn't the shrieking harpy from the basement or the cold wife from dinner. This was a predator, calm and focused. "He was supposed to be with you. You helped him break into my private space." "I don't know what you're talking about," David said, his voice edging toward fear. "Look, it's late. Maybe you should." A wet, heavy thud cut him off. A grunt of pain, a body hitting the floor. "No." Without thinking, I shoved the door open. The scene was a snapshot of domestic violence turned surreal. David was on his knees in the middle of his living room, clutching his stomach, his face pale with shock and pain. Sarah stood over him, the ornate silver dagger in her hand, its tip now dark and wet. In her other hand, she held the rusted pipe. She'd hit him. She was going to kill. She turned as I entered. Her eyes, which had been fixed on David with impersonal purpose, flicked to me. There was no surprise, just a flicker of irritation, as if I were a minor logistical problem. "You're more resilient than I gave you credit for, Mark," she said, her voice almost conversational. She took a step toward me, away from David. "But it doesn't matter. The process has started. William is preparing. I just need to finish gathering the components." "Sarah, stop!" I yelled, my voice raw. I had nothing, no weapon, no strength. I was a bloody, barefoot mess facing my armed, homicidal wife. "This is insane. He's dead. Let David go. Let us go." "Us?" She spat the word. "There is no us. There is William and me and the vessels that help us reunite." She glanced at David, who was trying to crawl toward his coffee table where his phone lay. "He's a component. You were a vessel. Now you're a complication." She moved with shocking speed, not toward me, but toward David. She raised the pipe. "No," I lunged, not at her, but at the nearest object, a heavy ceramic floor lamp. I grabbed it and swung it like a baseball bat. It was clumsy, desperate. The base connected with her shoulder, not her head, but it was enough to throw her off balance. The pipe's arc went wide, smashing into David's television with a spectacular crash of glass and plastic. Sarah snarled, a feral, inhuman sound. She dropped the pipe and came at me with the dagger. The world narrowed to the silver gleam of the blade. I parried with the lamp, the ceramic shattering on impact with the dagger, showering us with shards. I was left holding a jagged hole of broken metal and wiring. I backed toward the open door, trying to draw her away from David. "Run, David!" I screamed. David, clutching his bleeding side, stumbled to his feet and lurched toward the hallway. Sarah's eyes flickered with fury. She couldn't chase us both. With a final venomous look at me, she turned and sprinted after David. He was slower, wounded. She was between